Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic. I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic. Say it with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, American patriots, and welcome to another edition of the Douglas Ducote Show. You had many places to be tonight, but chose to be here with me, and for that, I am forever grateful. We're going to do things a little different tonight. I'm going to cover what I call back page news stories. Stories that would be front page news, but what for the corruption of the left and the Democrats in Washington, and especially the Biden crime family. The whole world is watching what's dominating the news, and that's the U.S. House exposing the corrupt Bidens, the corrupt DOJ, and the corrupt FBI. And it seems to matter not, because the DOJ and the FBI are now an extended arm of the Democrat Party and will protect the Bidens and those criminals like them, such as the Clintons, no matter what. And that's because they're Democrats and the two-tier justice system. The world is watching the most corrupt Department of Justice and FBI in American history right now do everything in their power to destroy the political opponent and the man that they want to continue to be president, Joe Biden. The world is watching right here in America what was once only done in other countries, especially third world countries like Central and South America and the Middle East. And that is invoking law enforcement to destroy their political adversaries. In this case, it's Donald J. Trump. So we all know what's happening. We're watching it. It's on C-SPAN. It's on all the news. Even CNN is no longer covering for the Bidens. So let's talk about things that tonight we're going to talk about things that should be the top of the news that American patriots should be aware of, but it's being buried because of all the absolute craziness that's taken place in Washington, D.C. Let's start with this one. Maybe God has intervened and activated the karma button. A tornado tore through the Pfizer facility in North Carolina yesterday, destroying at least 50,000 plus pallets of medication at one of the world's largest injectable product facilities. The Pfizer plant, located in Rocky Mount, was heavily damaged by the tornado. We can confirm that the Pfizer Rocky Mountain facility was damaged by the tornado, the pharmaceutical company said in a statement. Pfizer colleagues at the site followed our established safety protocols and were able to evacuate. Thankfully, because they didn't get the vaccine. They are safe and accounted for. We are assessing the situation to determine the impact on production, Pfizer added. Our thoughts are with our colleagues, our patients, and the community as we rebuild from this weather incident. The Pfizer plant was destroyed by an EF3 tornado, according to the National Weather Service. The tornado survey results are in. The tornado was on the ground for 16.5 miles and produced peak winds of 150 miles per hour. National Weather Service in Raleigh tweeted, "This is the first EF3 tornado ever observed in central North Carolina in the month of July." Pfizer plant destroyed. Didn't see that one coming, did you? Country music television, also known as CMT, has removed country star Jason Aldean's new patriotic and anti-riot music video titled "Try That in a Small Town," just days after it was released. That's right. Now, country music television has gone woke. Aldean's recent music video indicates that small towns would not allow the violent riots that took place in 2020 in major cities throughout the United States. And it's the truth. CMT removed Aldean's music video from its programming rotation just 3 days after it was released because of all the calls from the liberals and the left screaming and hollering that it's racist. Removal of the country star's music video occurred following backlash from viewers that also claimed that it promoted activities such as gun violence and lynchings. Are you fucking kidding me? Have you not watched the video? Additionally, Aldean's music video was criticized for being filmed at the Maury County Courthouse. Ashton Pittman, a news editor with Mississippi Free Press, blasted the music video on Twitter for being filmed at a site where a white lynch mob strung Henry Colt up at the Maury County Courthouse in Columbia, Tennessee, after dragging his body through the streets with a car in 1927. 1927. That's where Aldean chose to sing about murdering people who don't respect police. In response to the backlash voiced against his music video, Aldean has denied any racial undertones in the music video. In the past 24 hours, I've been accused of releasing a pro-lynching song, a song that has been out since May, and was subject to the comparison that I, direct quote, was not too pleased with the nationwide BLM protest, Aldean tweeted. These references are not only meritless, but dangerous. Aldean noted that having been present at the heartbreaking tragedy that occurred on Route 91 that claimed many lives, no one, including me, wants to continue to see senseless headlines of families torn apart. In his statement on Twitter, Aldean said he has never tried to hide his political views. While he acknowledged that people in the United States don't agree on how we get back to a sense of normalcy, he said the inspiration of the song is the desire to return to a lifestyle where you can go at least a day without a headline that keeps us up all night. Try that in a small town for me refers to the feeling of a community that I have grown up, where we took care of our neighbors, regardless of the differences of background or belief, Aldean stated, because they were our neighbors, that they were above any differences. Fans lashed out at country music television after it pulled singer Jason Aldean's "Try That in a Small Town" music video this week, following accusations it was racist. Aldean enraged liberal activists with the new music video, which has anti-crime, pro-law enforcement themes, and tells criminals that their behavior won't be tolerated in rural America. Well, where have you heard that said before? Right here. The music video plays footage from left-wing riots and smash-and-grab robberies. Activists accuse the song of being racist and promoting violence. Yeah, y'all think you're tough? Well, try that in a small town. See how far y'all make it down the road. Around here, we take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long for you to find out. I recommend you don't, Aldean sings in the video. CMT confirmed it pulled the music video off the air Monday, angering Aldean fans and free speech advocates. Unbelievable. CMT just canceled this music video by Jason Aldean about the Antifa BLM riots, so the CMT has gone woke, one Twitter user reacted. Another slammed the network for censoring the singer, drawing attention to other musical artists whose songs are allowed to stay on the air despite having explicit themes such as gun violence. CMT is censoring Jason Aldean's new music video. Try that in a small town, he said. Most mainstream artists promote drugs, gangs, violence, and sleeping around. Jason says, hey, let's not rob our ladies and burn down cities. And CMT bans his video. Screw at CMT. Radio host Dana Loesch agreed there was nothing controversial about the video. Literally nothing. Nothing remotely controversial about the song or the video. I agree. I've listened to the song and I've watched the video. At CMT is a bunch of female cooperatory organs. Loesch ripped the network. Legal scholar Jonathan Turley argued the decision could hurt the television network financially and was damaging to artistic freedom of speech. Putting aside CMT's effort to become the Bud Light of networks, the decision to yield to the intense cancel campaign is an abandonment of principles of artistic freedom and the freedom of speech, he wrote. Blaze TV host Chad Prather praised the badass patriotic song and lamented CMT's shameful decision to pull it. Several conservatives hopped in hope this decision would backfire and bring more listeners to Aldean's song, which it is. Welcome to the most downloaded song of 2023. Thank you, woke CMT. Liberal activists praised the decision, however. Gun control activist Shannon Watts, founder of Moms Defend Action, touted she was proud to have had a hand in getting CMT to reject this racist and violent song. The country singer addressed the controversial on Tuesday, denying the song was racist and arguing that it was meant to be unifying. In the past 24 hours, I've been accused of releasing a pro-lynching song, a song that has been out since May, and was subject to the comparison that I, direct quote, was not too pleased with the nationwide BLM protests, Aldean shared with fans. He called these suggestions as being dangerous. He went on to say, there's nothing racist about this, and there isn't anything racist about it. It is just an example of how the woke left want to destroy when somebody brings factual information to the table. In this case, I'm sorry that the videos that were shown were black people destroying shit, burning shit, looting shit. That's what it was. Mixed in with some Antifa people that were white, but they were wearing face masks because they're too big of a pussies to let themselves be identified. Jason Aldean went on to say that my political views have never been hidden. And I know that a lot of this in the country don't agree on how we get back to a sense of normalcy, where we go at least a day without a headline that keeps us up all night. But the desire for it too, that's what the song is about, he wrote. Let's talk facts here. It would not have mattered where the video was shot. Hell, they could have gone up in SpaceX in the space capsule and shot it in fucking space. The outrage from the left would still be the same. Why? Because the video and song prove a point. That Antifa and BLM did serious damage to America and continue to do so in cities controlled by Democrats. Big cities, small town cities and rural areas don't have an Antifa and a BLM problem because small towns are mostly run by Republicans. We will not allow these thugs to destroy our towns. Our mayors will support our police departments and our sheriffs to go out and kick their ass out of town. Period. Lawmakers said they had an argument with the commanding officer of Eglin Air Force Base in Florida as they pushed for answers about UFOs. Representative Tim Birchman, Republican Tennessee, and Anna Pauline Luna, Republican Florida, said their efforts to disclose records about UFOs, or what the government calls unidentified anomalous phenomenon, UAPs, have been met with resistance from the Pentagon and intelligence communities. Lawmakers will hear from former military service members David Grosh, Ryan Graves, and Dave Fravor during the House National Security Subcommittee next Wednesday, and I can't wait to see that hearing. First said at Thursday's press conference today. The Pentagon and Washington bureaucrats have kept this information hidden for decades, and we're finally going to shed some light on it. We're bringing in credible witnesses who can provide public testimony because the American people deserve the truth. We're done with the cover-ups. Birch and Luna described tense moments as they tried to get information from the military about UFOs, and they said the Pentagon and Air Force tried to impede their pushing for records. The status quo on the part of the U.S. government has been to leave the American people in the dark regarding information on UAPs. They refuse to answer questions posed by whistleblowers, avoiding the concerns of Americans and acknowledging that the possible threat UAPs pose to our national security as well as public safety is extremely unnecessary. Susan Goff, a spokesman for the Department of Defense who handles UFO-related inquiries, handed the Pentagon's response. DOT takes its congressional reporting requirements seriously and is committed to timely and thorough reporting to Congress, said in an email. AARO, All-Domain Anonymity Resolution Office, regularly reports on its progress to the Congress, to include both its commissary findings and its history research as part of the USG UAP efforts. AARO has kept Congress appraised of its efforts to support integrity, cooperation, and UAP while continuing to provide regular congressional mandated reports and briefings to the Hill, including classified briefings. Now, after hearing that statement, keep in mind that one of these whistleblowers, he was the head of the program they're talking about. You couldn't make this shit up if you tried. During the recent trip to Eglin Air Force Base, they were blocked by Pentagon and Air Force from seeing information and pictures, from reading testimony from pilots who saw potential UFOs, and were talking to witnesses. They visited Eglin Air Force Base because they were told they were going to be briefed on UFO-related issues. Luna added that they were followed up on whistleblower claims. The Somnambulists had nothing to do with UFOs, and we stopped the thing in the middle of it, they said. Hey, this is not what you all told us we were coming down here for, and they basically told us we're not going to get into UAPs. Luna said this sparked a confrontation with the commanding general at the base. Even before we got down there, the Pentagon tried to stop the field hearing, she said. After much arm twisting, we got some of the information. But the fact is that they answer to Congress acting on behalf of the American people, and that any government entity that attempts to stonewall us and doing nothing in the best interest of the American people is not going to fly. If the Air Force and the Pentagon think they're above Congress, then they have another thing coming. We told them we were going to do this if they continue to hide information. Well, the Air Force has seen how Congress has done nothing to the FBI and Department of Justice for thinking they are above the law, even though they answer to Congress. So what do you expect the Air Force to do? Congress is yet to hold the FBI or Department of Justice accountable for stonewalling every investigation that they've attempted, because they're Republicans that are doing it. When Democrats were controlling the House, they gave them everything they wanted, and then some. The House's Subcommittee on National Security, the Border, and Foreign Affairs will hold a hearing Wednesday titled Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon, Implications on National Security, Public Safety, and Government Transparency. The purpose of the hearing is to listen to firsthand accounts from Grosh, Graves, and Fravor about UFOs and assist the federal government's transparency and accountability with regards to possible threats to national security. Grosh, who is a decorated Air Force veteran, came forward with accusations about a secret government-run crash UFO retrieval program to reverse engineer the technology. He's a former combat officer in Afghanistan who served the National Reconnaissance Office as their representative to Congress, Unidentified Aerial Phenomenal Task Force from 2019 to 2021. The guy in charge of the program that the Pentagon put up that's come out and said, we have UFOs and we have the alien bodies, but they won't let us tell you about it. So fuck it. We're not going to be on the program anymore. This is ridiculous. We found what you sent us to find. Now the Pentagon is saying, oh, no, that doesn't exist. Jeez, unfreaking believable. The guy in charge of the program. Graves, a former Navy fighter pilot who became the first to testify about UAPs while on active duty, encountered several unexplained phenomena during his decorated career. While I was in the Navy, myself and others in my squadron had an experience that continues to this day, and at first was something that we didn't have a name for, Graves said in a previous interview. Fravor is a former squadron leader who served 18 years as a Navy pilot and who spotted what's known as the Tic-Tac UFO during a 2004 training mission about 60 to 100 miles off the coast of San Diego. The initial sighting was described as a white Tic-Tac about the size of an F-18 Hornet fighter plane, 40 feet long with no wings, just hanging close to the water. It seemed to mirror the pilot's movements before it suddenly flew away at a rate of speed unlike anything that we can do as humans in aerodynamics. Cautious claim haven't been definitely confirmed nor denied, and the pilots haven't received any information about what they saw. The American public has a right to learn about technologies of unknown origins, non-human intelligence, and unexplained phenomena, Graves told Fox News Digital during an exclusive interview that took place yesterday. We're not only working to declassify what the government has previously learned about the phenomenon, but to create a pipeline for future research to be made. The All-Domain Anonymity Resolution Office, which is a specialized department in the Pentagon that investigates UAPs, is currently investigating about 800 cases, according to the director, who's now seen Kirkpatrick, because the director that was in charge came out and said, we have the stuff. Let me show it to you. And they went, no, you can't. About 2% to 5% of the 800 cases that they're investigating are true anomalies. Kirkpatrick said NASA is also investigating UAPs, running on a separate but parallel track as Arlo. But NASA and Arlo are expected to release separate reports this summer. Now, that wasn't enough. Bear with me a second. National Security Council spokesman John Kirby acknowledged during a press briefing that took place Monday that unidentified flying objects, UFOs, and unidentified aerial phenomena, UAPs, are creating difficulties for the U.S. Air Force. Asked by News Nation's Blake Berman during Monday's White House press briefing if increased sightings of UFOs and UAPs are perceived as a legitimate issue for the Biden administration, Kirby explained that the administration is taking the report sightings seriously. I wonder if that's as serious as they take cocaine being found in the White House. Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't have stood up an organization at the Pentagon to analyze and try to collect and coordinate the way these sightings are reported if they didn't take it seriously, he said. Well, John Kirby, the guy you put in charge of the program said they exist and we have them. We have captured UFOs and the aliens. And you won't let him talk, so he became a whistleblower. Last year, the Department of Defense announced the formation of the All-Domain Anonymity Resolution Office to analyze and categorize UFO objects. During Monday's press conference, Kirby noted that some of the UFOs and UAPs have impacted the United States Air Force training ranges. Some of these phenomena, we know, have already had an impact on our training ranges. You know, when pilots are out trying to train in the air and they see these things, they're not sure what they are and if it can have an impact on their ability to perform their skills. So it's already had an impact on the Air Force. But of course, we know it's had an impact on the Navy as well. According to the Daily Mail, while Kirby insisted that the Pentagon is taking the issue of UFOs seriously, he refused to answer questions regarding the recent whistleblower claims, such as David Gosh, who was in charge of the fucking program, and is also a retired senior intelligence officer who claims that the government has been covering up UFO crashes. Now, we're not saying what they are or what they are not. We're saying there's something our pilots are seeing, and we're saying it had an effect on some of our training operations. And so we want to get to the bottom of it, Kirby said. We want to understand it better. According to The Hill, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has recently promoted a bipartisan bill that required the government to reveal UFO documents that have not previously been released. Additionally, the House Oversight Committee is preparing to hold a hearing next week, which we already talked about, on UFOs in light of the whistleblower's testimony and the claims the U.S. military has recovered the remains of non-human entities and the aircraft that they came here in, or spacecraft, or UAP, or UFO, whatever the hell you want to call it. Police and sheriffs in southern Illinois say they are bracing for more crime and more victims that result from the end of cash bail across the state. Folks who live here are extremely concerned, Franklin County Sheriff Kyle Bacon told Fox News. It's an experiment on the backs of victims of crime. I have serious concerns, and so do the people that live here. On Tuesday, the Illinois Supreme Court ruled in favor of eliminating the state's cash bail system. Couldn't make this up if you tried. The ruling takes effect September 18th, making Illinois the first state to fully abolish cash bail. Welcome to the rule of lawlessness that's about to consume your state, you dumbass liberal Democrats that did this. I hope that, sadly, it's really unchristian of me to say this, but we know that there are going to be families affected by this crime wave that's about to happen. May it happen to your families before it happens to innocent people that do not want your kind of shit destroying their state. Under the new law, judges across Illinois will not require those charged with a crime to post bail in order to be released from jail while they await trial, unless the judge determines that they are a direct threat to the public or a flight risk. Sheriff Jeff Bullard, Jefferson County, said law enforcement and attorneys will be the ones who bear the brunt of these changes. We did our job. We arrested them. We incarcerated them. And then the state's attorney makes the argument that they should be remanded for trial. And the judge, based on the Safety Act guidelines, says, now I'm forced to let them go. That's going to increase crime victims' frustration. And we share that frustration with them, he said. The provision, which was part of the 2021 Criminal Justice Reform Bill on Safety, Accountability, Fairness, and Equity Today, or SAFETY Act, was previously set to go into effect January 1, but it was placed on hold after Illinois Attorney General Kwame Royal appealed the rule by a circuit judge that the pretrial release and bail reforms in the Safety Act were unconstitutional. We're prepared for this, but then we just kind of hit the pause button, Bacon told Fox News, and now the scramble is back on law enforcement. In a previous interview, Oakland Park Mayor Keith Picayune told Fox News, When I said that this is the most dangerous law I've ever seen, believe that. Bacon said full effects of the change won't be known until the law takes effect. The flaws of it are going to be revealed even more, and trying to fix issues is going to be a nonstop process, Bacon said. Both Franklin County and Jefferson County are located in southern Illinois and experience high numbers of drug-related trespassing and burglaries, the sheriff said. There are people here that own hundreds, some thousands of acres of property, and that the most basic level is their concern. How do we deal with that? We assured people that we will absolutely do everything we can to serve the victims of crime. But people here are very concerned about it, he said. It is a rural area, but the people here are not served well by this law. No, they're not at all served well by the law. Lord said reforms such as these will have a more noticeable impact in the southern part of the state. A lot of things can be lost in the shuffle of a large metropolitan area like Chicago, he said. No, it ain't going to get lost. Trust me. Those thugs up in Chicago that we read about and hear about every day are just going to get released right back out of the streets after they're arrested. Do you see the insanity of this? Crime, and especially violent crime in a rural county, a lot of people hear about it. A lot of people are concerned about it. It does not get lost in the shuffle, he said, but in the big cities it does. Bail reform advocates argue that the current cash bail system bases the freedom of people awaiting trial largely on their ability to pay money, and have said it disproportionately affects communities of color. Bullard, however, said the legislators and the judges who pass the reform are responsible for any new victims created as a result of it. Any new victim that's on the system, he said. That's on the people who allowed that to take place, not recognizing the public safety and danger. Both Bullard and Bacon said the officers will continue to serve and protect their citizens to the best of their ability within the limits of the law. But the outlook of how this change will affect policing remains unclear. We have 100 people sitting in jail or requiring cash bond. What happens with that? We have literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of arrest warrants that are assigned a cash bond. What happens with that? Bacon said. All of these questions exist, and quite honestly, I sit here and have no idea what the answer is. Bullard said it can discourage both the police, those in the criminal justice system, and the citizens when more emphasis is put on the rights of defendants over the protection of the public. But I would tell people to not be discouraged because we're going to continue to push forward. Well, how can they not be discouraged? Make no mistake about it. This is what happens when you elect left-wing liberal Democrats into office. Commit a crime? Okay. Let's take your picture. Let's fingerprint you. Have a good day. See you in 6 months when we go to trial. Then you go back out and commit another crime, or go after the victim that you were arrested for in the first place. Authorities in Missouri said an alleged burglar who entered a home in McDonald County with a firearm was met by two homeowners who also had guns of their own, who shot and swiftly detained the man until police arrived. McDonald County Sheriff's Office deputies responded Wednesday to a reported burglary at the residence on Buffalo Creek Road near Tiff City, where they said two homeowners had both shot a suspected burglar, who fired first at the homeowners. Tiff City is located along Missouri's shared border of Oklahoma. Arriving deputies made contact with the homeowners who had come home to find a man inside the home, Sheriff Rob Evasion said Wednesday. Homeowners entered the house to find a man barricaded in a room. The burglar fired a shot at the homeowners from a handgun. The homeowners, who were both armed with handguns, returned fire, striking the burglar with a shotgun in each thigh. The sheriff said the homeowners then disarmed the suspect, who was later identified as 62-year-old James F. Garrett, and held him until deputies arrived. Garrett was transported by Freeman ambulance to a hospital in Joplin. Detectives recommended to the McDonald County prosecutor charges of burglary, assault first degree, and armed criminal action. Should also charge him with attempted murder if he shot first. No charges have been filed against the two homeowners because it's not a Democrat-run area. See what happens in small town Americas to criminal? Now you have a better understanding of Jason Aldean's song, Try That in a Small Town. We will fuck you up. Neighbors called a homeowner in Shelby County, Tennessee, to inform him that several men were milling around his vehicles outside. The homeowner went outside to investigate and saw two men in his driveway and two other men in a white sedan parked in the middle of the street. The unknown man saw him and took off running, but one of the men also reported turned and shot at the homeowner, striking him in the ankle. The armed citizen returned fire, and the assailant and other suspect fled. One of the suspects was later arrested after knocking on doors and neighbors and yelling to his phone, "Y'all left me. Come pick me up." That was in Memphis, Tennessee on February 10th, 2023. Three men allegedly attempted a home invasion April 23rd in Gwinnett County, Georgia. When the homeowner heard a knock and cracked open his door, the stranger reportedly kicked it in and began firing at him. Although he sustained an injury, the homeowner managed to return fire with his own gun, killing one of the assailants and causing the other to flee. The two other men were arrested and are expected to face charges of felony murder for the death of their accomplice. The homeowner was not charged. This was on 5/17/23, reported by WSBT.com, Atlanta, Georgia. In Beaumont, Texas, homeowner shot and wounded a man who reportedly had broken into his house in the middle of the night on May 19th. Responding police saved a 43-year-old intruder's life by using a tourniquet to stop his bleeding and transported him to the hospital. He was to be charged with burglary upon release and held on a $100,000 bond. The Beaumont police spokesman emphasized that the homeowner would face no charges. The suspect is the one who broke the law and committed a crime, and as a result, he was shot. Too damn bad, 12 News reported. Homeowners in Town County, Georgia arrived home a little after midnight on May 20th. As she entered, she reportedly discovered an intruder in her house, walking towards her and wearing her husband's clothes. The woman drew her gun and held the suspect at gunpoint until police could arrive. Once they arrived, the robber allegedly attempted to flee, but deputies tackled him and arrested him. He was charged with felony burglary and was connected with vehicle robberies in the same area. So he faces additional 20 counts of felonies entering an automobile. It was in Town County Sheriff's Office Facebook post, Towns County, Georgia, 6/1/23. When a 77-year-old homeowner in Ann Arbor, Michigan, heard what sounded like someone opening his screen door around dinner time on May 24th, he found someone already in his kitchen. The stranger, a tall man who looked to be in his 20s, had apparently forced his way through a window over the sink. The homeowner fired one shot at the intruder, who fled through the same window and went out head first. The armed citizen told reporters, "He was younger than me, no doubt stronger than me. I'm 77 years old, and he was in my house, and I defended myself." Police are still investigating the matter at the time of the reporting. WXYZ, Detroit, Michigan. A 24-year-old man returning to his car from a mall in Chicago, Illinois on May 28th was approached by two suspect carjackers. At least one of the alleged assailants was armed and reportedly began firing on the car owner. But he drew his own firearm, returned fire, shooting one of them in the thigh. The injured suspect was arrested after being treated at a local hospital. The other suspect was caught only a few minutes after he attempted another carjacking, reported by FoxNews.com in Chicago, Illinois. So you see the things that aren't being reported because there's so much crap happening in Washington, D.C. with members of Congress and the Senate and the House and the Biden family and the Department of Justice and the FBI, that's all that's dominating the news. That's all we hear about 24/7. The corruption is being exposed by the Republican-led House. Many of you, like me, watch it religiously on C-SPAN, and you sit there blown away at why nothing is being done from the FBI and Department of Justice. They don't investigate the crime, even the crime of the cocaine found in the White House. 11-day investigation, never interviewed a single fucking person. Claim there's no video coverage. We know that's a lie. Claim that the plastic baggie the coke was in had no fingerprints on it. Well, that's a lie, unless the person who put it there was wearing gloves, rubber gloves, when he took it out of his pocket and when he put it in his pocket. And nobody saw him put on rubber gloves to take it back out? Come on. We all see what's happening here. Not only do we see it, but the world sees it. And they're laughing at us, going, why is this happening? The once great United States of America is becoming just like a third world fucking country. A shithole. Led by Democrats. And I used to be one. Yes, guilty as charged. I was a Democrat. Born and raised a Democrat. Most of my life. No, not most of my life. I'm sorry. When I got into my 20s and went into the military and realized then, wait a minute, something's wrong here. Then I switched parties. And I've been following politics ever since, heavily following it, and watching what the far left has managed to do to the once great Democrat Party. I thought it was a great party. Of course, then I found out about all the racist shit. I didn't realize growing up that they were racist. Hell, I went to Robert E. Lee High School, for crying out loud. Here in the Deep South, in Louisiana. And then as I got older and started doing my own homework and waking the fuck up, I realized how racist the Democrat Party was. I didn't know that they founded the KKK until I became an adult and did my own research. I didn't know that they were for segregating blacks and whites and keeping it that way until I grew up. I didn't know about their effect with Jim Crow laws. I didn't know that the founder of Planned Parenthood was a Democrat, and the whole purpose of putting it together was to destroy the black race and kill off black babies. And they're still being funded today by the Democrat Party. This shit's crazy. And then y'all go and elect one of the most racist motherfuckers to ever be in Congress, Joe Biden. Look at all the shit he has said about black people. Fuck, why can't the voters do their damn homework? Why are y'all giving these racists a pass? Why is the DOJ doing it? Why is the FBI doing it? The only way it gets fixed is at election time. You vote these motherfuckers out. The only way that's going to happen is if enough of you start sharing videos like mine with your friends and family and the public and posting it on all your social media platforms. Not just me, but other conservatives out there telling you this shit, exposing the facts, showing you the truth. And in my case, if I get it wrong, I make an amendment. I'm not above saying, I'm sorry I got something wrong. I've done it in the past. I'll do it in the future. I'm sure I get something wrong. But I try to do the best job I can, my homework, before I come on here and do a live show. Because I don't want to look like a fool in front of you, my subscribers, or anyone else for that matter. It's difficult to find the truth. If Fox News reports on something that patriots, I believe, need to know, I don't just take it for granted that because it's Fox News. No, I've learned my lesson there. The far right is just as crazy as the far left. I go look at how CNN reported it. I look at how MSNBC is reporting it. I look at how ABC, CBS, and NBC are reporting it. How's the Washington Times reporting it? How's the New York Times reporting it? How about the San Francisco Chronicle? Are they reporting it? And I review all those reports, and then I use my own damn common sense, education, and world life experience to figure out which story is full of shit and which one is factual information. And sometimes I even follow up more. And I reach out and I contact these people that the story's about. That's how you get factual information. Sometimes I get it wrong. And those of you that have been subscribed to me and have watched me for a long, long time, many years, know that when that happens, I come back and I let you know. And I am proud to say that rarely happens because it's so blatant obvious, regardless of your background, to figure this shit out, regardless if it's coming from CNN or Fox News or MSNBC or anybody else for that matter. You know, it's like the hearings happening right now up in Washington with the IRS whistleblowers. This is unbelievable what's being exposed. The Republicans are asking great questions. The Democrats aren't asking any questions. They use their 5 minutes to trash the witnesses and then try and throw Trump into this, which has nothing to do with it. Hell, today in a hearing, John Kennedy, who's running to be president, yes, relative of John F. Kennedy, who wants to be the next president over and not Biden, he's a Democrat, by the way, testified in front of Congress about all the censorship that's happened to him over the past 4 or 5 years. The hearing is about government censorship. And what happens? In the very beginning of the hearing today, the Democrats tried to shelf the hearing and censor it because they didn't want him to speak. The hearing is about censorship, and they spent their 5 minutes of time trying to censor him and calling him not credible and calling him everything you can possibly think of. It was just unbelievable. So we run him out of Washington, D.C. How do you do that? Again, you vote. How do you get people to get encouraged to vote? Those that are fed up, those that are tired, those that have said, I had enough, it ain't working anymore. Who gives a shit? They're going to do what they want to do anyhow. You share with them videos coming from people like me that served this country for most of their life in law enforcement, in the military, that served in combat, that's highly educated, decorated, that's doing this for what reason? Because I love this country and I don't want to see it become another third world shithole. And that's where it's going under Democrat leadership. That is a fact that I will take to my grave. I know I used to be one of them. You share this. You tell people to subscribe to channels like mine. You let them know it exists. Because unless they hear factual information from people like me, if all they do is tune in to whether it's Fox or CNN or MSNBC or any of these other freaking networks, whether it's far right or far left, they're going to believe the shit they're being told instead of somebody that independently fact checks all their shit and what they're saying and reaches out to the source, and many of the time to come to you and tell you what's going on. That's how we defeat them. We get people to get motivated to realize that when Ronald Reagan said we're just one generation away from this country being destroyed, that generation's right now, followed by another generation that's going to make this one look like a walk in the park. So trust me, I know the way out of this. I got it. Sadly, what should happen, it's written in the Constitution, the Second Amendment. It was written by our forefathers for what we're witnessing right now. But if anyone calls for activating the Second Amendment and says, pick up your guns and let's go take our country back, you will become a domestic terrorist and you will go to prison and you will not see the light of day again. Our Constitution is now controlled by the Democrats. They control what it says or doesn't say. They interpret what it says or doesn't say. So if you try and use the Second Amendment for its purpose, you're fucked. So you got no other choice but to spread the word and vote and bring people with you to vote. And don't stop voting. And don't get lazy and lethargic and go, fuck it, it doesn't matter anymore. It matters. It matters for the men and women that served this country and paid the ultimate sacrifice for your God-given freedoms and the freedoms given to you by our forefathers that fought, bled, and died for this country. It matters. You get out there and you vote and you bring people with you and you share this information with everybody you can possibly share it with until you're sick of sharing it. That's how we make change. Folks, you had many places to be tonight. You chose to be here with me, and for that, I am forever grateful. Thank you. I hope that whatever you do tonight, Friday, and into the weekend, you're safe doing it. Go out there, have fun if you're able to. Be with your families. Enjoy your time. And remember to check back in here on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Central for more live broadcast of this program. In the description of this video and all my shows, you can see where you can find me on different social media platforms. Follow me there. I'll do the same in return. That's how we spread this word. That's how we pump this up. Trust me, if you haven't figured it out by now, I've been saying it for 3 years. 3 years I've been saying it. How I'm being censored. And YouTube's doing one hell of a job of it. Every 28 days, it works in 28-day cycles. They unsubscribe from this channel close to 1,000 subscribers. It ain't people unsubscribing like they claim it is, because I've got you coming to me telling me all the time. You would not believe most of the emails and text messages and messaging I get on social media platforms is, Doug, I keep getting unsubscribed to your channel. I have to go back and resubscribe and re-ring the bell to get notifications. Half time I don't get notifications. And YouTube says, oh, people just unsubscribe. That's how it works. No, who the fuck do you know that's ever unsubscribed to a YouTube channel? You just don't go back and look at it again. You don't take the time to go back and unsubscribe to it. I'm sure it happens every now and then, but not 1,000 people a month. Come on, man. as Joe Biden would say. It's absolutely insane. Nothing I can do about it. We try and get more people to subscribe than they're unsubscribing. I don't know if that's even going to be possible, but I can attempt it till eventually I'm off this platform for good. I'll probably be taking myself off of it way before they take me off of it. But if I was a social media insurrectionist, like some of these left-wing nut jobs claim, they would have just hit the delete button on this program and this show, and it would be over with. But that's not happened, has it? Glenn Ray Hyder. Just to name a few. No, it hasn't. So, folks, you got to share the information. You got to share the information of conservatives that are out there on YouTube. Many of them are my personal friends. And let the world know where they can get the real truth about what's happening to this country before it's too damn late. As always, please say a prayer for our men and women serving the United States military, our veterans, our law enforcement officers, first responders and their families, our angel families, our blue and gold star families in our country. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless each and every one of you. I'll see you next Tuesday, folks. Take care and God bless.